Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. And today I'm joined by my two cohorts, Mr. Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and also Mr. Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net and host of a great podcast that goes 7 days a week called Midday Money. Also, he does the late night picks too. Or what do you call that late night stuff you do, Sean?
I call look ahead lines now.
Look ahead.
It used to be late night money because I do it like midnight, 1 a.m, but I can't. I'm getting too old to do that. I can't be staying up till 2, 3 a.m. anymore. I forget it. It's called look ahead lines and just we fire away early.
Jesse's got it all figured out. He's in Thailand, so he is up all night long by our standards, but it's normal time for him to be up all night long. Anyway,
and I call the morning show Midnight Money because it's midnight money for me.
Not Midnight Madness, but Midnight Money. Anyway, we're going to be taking a look at game one of the NBA Western Conference Finals. The number 7 seed Los Angeles Lakers against the top seed in the West, the Denver Nuggets. No surprise, Denver, it's here. But, the Lakers, give them credit. They got taken to overtime in their play-in game against Minnesota before winning that. And then they've been impressive, knocking out Memphis in 6 games, knocking out the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. Denver really hasn't been seriously challenged in the NBA playoffs so far. 5-game series win in the opening round, 6 games in the second round. So, guys, just your initial thoughts on this series coming up, and then we'll get into the actual game predictions and what we're going to use. But starting with you, Jesse.
Well, I like Denver. I've liked Denver from the beginning of the playoffs. I'm a little concerned with the line movement for game one. I'm going to be looking at Denver on the series price. I wonder if LeBron and AD can stay healthy. And I know, Ross, that I think you're one of the guys that says you can't handicap injuries. But there's just certain teams and certain players, as I'll use as an example, Chris Paul and KD with Phoenix. And I think I said before the second round series that there's no way that both KD and Chris Paul can survive, to all the way to the NBA Finals. And sure enough, one of them drops. And LA has kind of got that similar vibe, right? Like it's going to take a miracle for AD and LeBron to survive all the way to the NBA championship without injury problems. So, Denver has been the young team, the young and inexperienced team, and they've had some disappointment in the playoffs, but they appear to have turned that corner. It feels like the right time. The timing's right. It could be their year.
Yeah, there you go. And I did say that about handicapping injuries. You did say that and ended up being correct. So what do you say, Sean? Does Dr. Jesse Shule, who handicaps injuries now, Dr. Shule.
And conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
Injuries
we always say that, right?
conspiracy.
The old the handicapping injuries, or for football, the old handicap turnovers when you're a quarterback, those 3 picks or something. But he's right with, AD and LeBron. One of them's going to miss a game in the series. All right. So that's tough because it's not a regular season game. You're in the conference finals now against a team that, as Jesse mentioned, some postseason letdowns last year, but it looks like they're putting together. Denver's a team I liked all season. I thought, Denver, I'm going to ride them. And I thought the Clippers would have been a sneaky team if they stay healthy. Again, we talk about health of players. We've seen it all postseason. Guys who we got to say, well, if they're going to play, well, every guy we thought was going to play, with injuries, history, they always miss something. They all missed. Why is this game going to be, or this series going to be any different? I'll lean Denver on a series here. I mean, what's there to say? I mean, you got the MVP. You got something to prove on the whole team. It's the Lakers. It's LeBron. Yeah. Look at this. He wins. He's the best guy ever if he wins a championship.
I'm not so sure the last time LeBron James missed a playoff game. I'd have to look that up, but I could honestly say in my memory, which is still pretty damn good, that I don't recall him missing any length of time during the postseason. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time he missed a postseason game. Now, I may be incorrect. I'm just going surely by go ahead.
Against the Spurs, he grabbed the back of his leg. Wow! Just at the point where the game was out of control and it was clear that they weren't going to be able to come back, he grabbed his leg and I went down like a ton of bricks, and he was out of that game.
Well, the Spurs, when was this?
This was a while ago. This is,
Yeah,
I
I
guess,
was going to
Kawhi
say.
when
Right.
Kawhi won MVP.
2008.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Jesse.
Well, I mean, you got to go back like an encyclopedia. You got to
Yeah.
know this stuff.
No,
I mean, you
I'm
brought
just-
up Will, you
if
brought
he's
up
never
Willis Reed in
missed,
the last show.
but here's the thing: he might not miss a game, but he has had some clunkers in the playoffs. Some absolute clunkers. He has. And I think he's great. I mean, listen, I'm an MJ guy,
yeah.
but I can't take away from a guy who's been to the guy's in the finals every year.
Yeah,
He's that good to carry it, but
I like the Lakers in this series. I'm going to stick with what I said on the show. I don't know if I said it with you guys or with Doug Upstone, but my predictions were that whoever won the Boston-Philadelphia series, I like them to go all the way. And whoever won the Golden State and Lakers series, I like them to knock off Denver. And the reason being is, yes, the Joker is a tremendous player, and he's going to get his. My question mark with Denver, guys, is their lack. To me, the Lakers are the deeper team. They have better quality depth, above and beyond LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And I do realize your concerns, especially when it comes to Anthony Davis, more so than LeBron James in terms of health. But I just think the Lakers role players, the D'Angelo Russells, the Hachimuras, and the Reeves, and those characters there are just really contributing in a big way for the Lakers. I think the Lakers in the second half of the season were clearly the best team in the Western Conference, including Denver. So my feeling is I'm going to take the Lakers here in the series plus 130. But let me tell you something about myself. Number one, I don't like making these types of picks, series bets, as you guys know from working with me, because then you're pretty much married to that team for the series. Well, I don't allow that to happen. Okay. If through the course of the series, if I like Denver, and I don't care if it's an elimination game, I'm going to go with my game picks are going to be much more stronger than a series pick. And a series pick, I very seldom bet a lot of money on, and this is going to be no different. So I'm going to take the Lakers there plus 130 at a small price, and then we'll bang this series as we go along, starting with game one. So speaking of banging the series and starting with game one, Mr. Bam Bam himself, Mr. Sean Higgs, who's been known to put out a pick or two in his day, is going to fill us in on who he likes in game one of this series that goes tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, Sean, Denver's -6 and the total is 225.5.
yeah, and as Jesse said, this was a 4.5.
222.5. My apology. Okay.
A 4.5 up to a 6 now. People betting Denver, the total. I'm going to concentrate on the total here. I like the over, believe it or not. I think Denver can score. Lakers aren't, as last series, a little more not a defensive series per se, but you had a Warrior team that's going to shoot a lot of threes, where the Nuggets are going to be kind of all over the place. You're going to go inside, right? They work through their big man, and then everybody's around them. Yeah, there'll be some threes. It won't be a concentrated effort of them taking 45 threes, something like Golden State is, where they could hit 12 of those and then you're trending to the under most of the game. I think we're going to see more inside shots. The Lakers aren't a huge three-point shooting team themselves. I think high-scoring game. And, sidewise and series. Listen, I like the Nuggets for the series. I like the Nuggets. But I want to see, I didn't jump into any player props here, but I'm looking at like Gordon and Pope. You mentioned D'Angelo Russell, who I had in a player prop here before. Hachimura. Those are the guys that are going to decide who wins this series. Like, it'll be like LeBron's the MVP, or here comes Joker MVP, or Murray had a great series. It's going to be that third and fourth guy, kind of little lesser guy, who's going to really make the series, because we know that the other guys are going to put up their MVP numbers. What's the guy going to step forward, right? We've seen that in all series. Somebody steps forward, whether it was Marcus Smart in the Sixers game to really send them home. I'm going to go over. I think we're going to get some role players stepping up here. 222.5 looks good to me. Over the total.
Yeah, Denver and the Lakers over 222.5. And yes, the Lakers in their 3 road games at Golden State during that series, they won in 6 games. All 3 of those games went over the total. So you're on to something there, Sean. And Denver 4-0 to the over this year at home when the total is 224 or less. So 222.5, it qualifies in that regard. So Jesse, what's your thoughts? Where are you going with this?
Well, let's put an end to the man crush comments for good here. I am going to disagree with Sean Higgs.
Hey.
I look at the last series against Phoenix, and there was a lot of big numbers, a lot of high scores. You had Devin Booker, couldn't miss a shot. You had Joker averaging 34.5 points per game. I expect this series to be the absolute antithesis of that. I think both these teams are a little content to play a little slower. Denver ranks near the bottom of the league in pace of play. They're both above average in defensive efficiency. Denver, absolutely the toughest place to play in the NBA. They didn't have the best home record, but very close to, and at altitude. The home team did win all 4 games during the regular season series. As I mentioned, the line opened at 4.5. It's gone to 6 and 6.5. It's a rule of mine. I cannot be on the wrong side of that movement, because when you add up your plays at the end of the month, if you've got half a dozen games that are decided by a half a point, and you bet into the wrong way against the line movement, that puts you behind the 8 ball. And if you want to hit 60%, you need that 5% of games to go your way every single time. You can't afford to ever lose by a half a point. If you want to hit 60% or better, you can't take half-point losses when you could have got a better line. And I wasn't on the ball.
What you're telling us is you don't lose half-a-point games. You haven't lost half-a-point games over the last year.
I do lose half-point games, but I always get the best available line, or at least I make my best effort to get the best. I never bet into the wrong way on the line movement.
Folks, Jesse makes it sound easy, but it's not, but he gets it done. So I guess the rest of us aren't as intelligent or talented as Jesse.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that I've heard a lot of people say it in these playoffs. I've seen a lot of the pundits say it doesn't matter what the line is, just pick the winner. The spread's not coming into play. Well, my answer to that is until it does.
Yeah.
I want every single point I can get, every half point, every advantage. And if I don't get every single point that I want, then I just pass. And that's what I'm going to do.
So when you're talking about, and again, I'm going to cut you off, and I'm sorry to do so, but I want the folks to understand your mindset. I know I'm teasing you a little bit, but I'm not, because your track record speaks for itself, Jesse. And
I'm happy to explain.
All right. So when you're talking about the line movement going from 4 to 6, and you're talking about being on the right side of the line movement, there's 2 ways to look at that. You could say it's a sharp money move and it's gone up to 6, and I'm going to lay to 6 because it doesn't matter, or you're going to say that this line should have been what it originally was and should have stayed that way, and if it went up this high, I'm going to go with the underdog. So how do you look at that?
Well, the way I look at it, Ross, is if it opened at 4.5, I know what it opens at. It's my job to see that line when it opens, and it's my job to anticipate which way that line's going to go. And if I don't make that decision, if I see it at 4.5 and say, "Oh, this is going to go to 6," so I play it. If I don't play it and then it goes to 6,
so you're anticipating the line.
Then I screwed up. And that's what I'm. So that's essentially what I'm saying here is I screwed up by not jumping on that opening line. It was my mistake, and I'm not going to compound that mistake by taking an inferior line. I'm just going to accept the mistake I made and take the pass instead.
Okay.
Rather than take an inferior line.
Makes sense.
So to my picks, I guess I gave out 3 picks in the last show on one game, and I'm going to do that again here. And like I said, I disagree with Sean about the high scores. I'm going to focus on the Joker's points total. It's listed at 27.5. And I think it's sort of inflated because he did score 34.5 points per game in the series against Phoenix. That was a different series. Now he's matching up against Anthony Davis, which is a far tougher matchup, in my opinion. So the Nuggets did play the Lakers 4 times in the regular season. And in 3 of those 4 games, the Joker scored fewer than 27.5 points. He averaged 23.3 points per game in the season series versus the Lakers. If you go back to the 2020 Western Conference Finals, when these teams met, Joker was held to 21.8 points per game. He averaged about 24, 25 points per game in the regular season. And now we're seeing that points total up, inflated a little bit from there, based maybe largely on the fact that he scored so many points in the last series. Like I said, this is a whole different series, different style of play. And let's face it, Joker doesn't have to score. He doesn't have to get all the points to be effective. He can be effective rebounding with assists. He can do it all. I will say, though, that Jamal Murray apparently was a little sick. He's probably going to play for sure, but if he was to not play, I wouldn't be betting on that. Assuming Murray is going to play, I do like the Nuggets. And one of the reasons I like the Nuggets is because of the home court advantage, the 4 games that are going to be played in Denver if this series goes 7. I think it's really tough for anybody to want to win in Denver. So I'm going to take Denver with the game in the series double. The price on that is -105. So they got to win game 1 and win the series. So you're getting 105 instead of 150 on that. And the logic being, I mean, they need to hold on to home court advantage if they want to win this series. If they let the Lakers roll in here and win game 1 and they lose home court advantage, I don't like their chances in this series. And for the game, I'm going to go back to the well with the double result, first half, full game. The price on that is -125. You're not laying any points. The Nuggets just have to be leading at halftime and win the game outright.
There you go. So now let's recap. You like Denver to win game 1 and win the series, and that's at odds of -105?
That's correct.
And where could they find a double result like that?
Bet365 has it. I wouldn't be surprised if DraftKings has it. I think it's a fairly common bet. I've seen other guys betting it.
Because I know you were asked that in the last video. So one of the subscribers did ask you, and I just want the folks to know that, in case they're knocking themselves out looking for that type of option, Jesse's pointing you right to the sports books that he knows has it for sure, because some of them don't, believe it or not. So you like Denver to win game 1 with no point spread involved, and also to win the series at money line odds of -105.
That's correct.
Okay, and then also you like the Denver Nuggets to cover game 1. Is that what you were telling me?
No, double result.
Okay.
First half, full game.
All right.
I think we're all familiar with that by now, but that's just, they have to be winning at halftime and win the game outright.
Right.
And then Joker's under 27.5 total points.
And Joker under 27.5 total points, which, I could tell you folks, if you like Denver in this series, and I know this is going to sound like an oxymoron, but if Joker's averaging in the 30s in this series, I think Denver's in trouble, because that means he's had to take on the major onus of responsibility in scoring, because he's not getting any help anywhere else, or getting limited help anywhere else. And I think that if he gets into the 30s on average in this series, that it's because that's the circumstance, and that will bode well for the Lakers. And again, I know that sounds like a contradiction, but it makes sense to me. And if you stop and think about it, it may make sense to you. In any event, Sean, your take?
Yeah, I like the first half full game. Why wouldn't I? Like Denver anyway here. I don't like the 6. I'm with Jess. If the line is not where I like it, like sometimes I'll say, well, I'll leave a winner out there. I don't mind, because I don't like the number. I liked it at this number, and now it's that. I can't play it. I totally agree. So first half and full game for a -105.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
I think they win anyway. He's 100% right. So I'm with that.
Okay, so you like that? You like the same thing on a double result, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I even kind of like the 6, but again, it's not the number I want to lay. I wish I had the.
Yeah.
The opener at 4.5, and
All right, so the double result, folks, is Denver has to be leading at the half, and Denver has to win the game as well.
Yeah.
With no point spreads involved. And the combination of those two, Jesse, were at money line odds of what?
125.
125. Okay.
The 105 is the game and series double for the series.
There you go. Sorry.
And 125 is still a reasonable price when
That's
you stop
fine.
and think about a 6-point favorite winning the game straight up and leading at the half. So, and game one of a series, normally, I don't want to go out on a limb, but especially when it comes to the conference finals, I'd have to look it up. I don't want to make a statement, but my feeling is game one of a series really favors the home teams in a conference final, especially. But let's look at what I like in this game. The team total for Denver is 114. And I've been doing well with these team totals, and I'm going to stick with it. I mean, this is a Denver team that's, they're going to be able to score in this series because the Lakers have allowed 112 points or more in 5 of 6 playoff road games this year. Okay, so just on one occasion, they allowed less than 112. And again, I know the total's 114, but my point being is the Lakers have been involved in some entertaining, high-scoring affairs on the road. All 3 of their games on the road in the Golden State series, like I alluded to, all went over the total. And also Denver, like I alluded to earlier, 4-0 to the over at home this year when the total is 224 or less. And they averaged over 117 points per game in those contests. I like 2 things here. I like the Denver Nuggets to go over 114 in game 1 of this series. And I like the game to go over 222.5. As a matter of fact, I do have a betting angle that I want to share with you guys since 2021, the 2021 playoffs specifically, home teams in round 2 or greater, which is round 3, playing the opening game of a series, and the total's 221.5 to 231. Have gone 9-0 to the over. And that's since 2021. So repeating again, since 2021 playoffs, home teams playing in an opening game of a series, round 2 or greater, and the totals 218.5 to 231 have gone 9-0 to the over. The average total in those 9 games, 223.3. Right now it's 222.5, and the combined score 231. So I like Denver over 114, and I also like the Denver and LA Lakers game to go over 222.5. Is a pick in the first game of the series being played tonight in Denver. Okay, so Jesse, you want to fill us in on what you think of those picks, because they pretty much line up with what you were saying, Jesse, and also fill the folks in on how you've been doing of late and what you may have coming up.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping to see a low score in game 1, to be honest with you. And I'm hypothesizing that this series could be a lot more defensive and ugly than the previous series for both these teams. I could be wrong. I don't have extremely strong feelings about that. But yeah, that's where I stand on that. How I've been doing of late. Let's see. What do I got here? It's written down somewhere. The last 365 days, Ross, 590 winners, 441 losers, plus 27,350 units. That's over 27 grand for dime players and over $2,700 for $100 bettors. So if you got some spare money in your pocket, you come see me at jesseshul.com. You'll be glad that you did.
There you go, jesseshul.com. The guy's been on a tear for pretty much 2 years now. And that's why you should give us a like at the end of the video, folks, because, you got some of the best handicappers in the world right here, sports handicappers, that is. And we're producing winners for you on this show. Our pay selections are documented independently. So it's not like we're making up records here. It could be verified not only at one spot, but several spots across the internet. And Jesse, we want them to like this, right? We want them to like the video. So what do we like?
Well, I always recommend that they smash that like button. And you know, I read the comments on all my videos. I even read the comments in Sean's show, and I see guys saying, "I smashed the like button."
That's when you know it's working, Sean. We use
Well,
intimidation. We use intimidation on
it's
this
hard to
channel.
ignore, right?
And who better to intimidate than Jesse the Mule Shule, you know? So anyway, Sean, what do you do for an encore there after that?
Listen, I went 3-3 in baseball yesterday, but it was a plus my day because we have a dog in the Nationals and a run line winner, and we're just grinding along in MLB. We're 500 record, but we're plus $600-700 on the season, so it is what it is. I take a lot of dogs. Midday Money, as you mentioned, Ross, you could find that on all your favorite podcast channels. Mr. Sean Higgs on Twitter. Come say hello there, and I have some MLB today. And again, with your picks, I'm with you on the over. I said I like the over. That was my pick to start the show. I think we're going to see a high scoring affair here with Denver at home, and I think get enough offense. Again, I want to see who's the role guy coming through here. Who's that guy is going to be the difference maker in this series? I think that's going to be the key. So again, like I said about the games, about the lines, you don't have to bet it. Just okay, it's game one. You don't got to bet it. Like we have our opinions on games, right? We kind of like this, we like that. If you don't like something, folks, just don't do it because I say it or Jesse or Ross or anybody. You don't have to bet the games. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever we think we know now, we're going to know a lot more after game one.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I would suggest that if I like something right now in the NBA playoffs, that you shouldn't pass it because my NBA side, since the playoffs have begun, 28-11. That's money line point spread picks combined. That's 72%. NBA postseason picks overall this year, 31-18. That's good for 63%. I'm on a 6-1 all sports run. After yesterday, I had one pick on the Seattle Mariners who crushed the Boston Red Sox 10-1. And my NBA 10-star top plays, those are my highest rated picks. I've given out 6 of those this postseason and won 5 of the 6. So the NBA playoffs, I do agree with Sean and Jesse. You don't have to bet everything, but when a guy is rolling like I am, I wouldn't bet against me. That's for sure right now. And same thing with Sean and Jesse. When they're rolling hot, you do not want to fade those types of guys, or you might want to, even though you say you don't like the game. And I love when guys tell me, well, I don't like the game. Well, you're paying me for my service. I'm telling you, I like it. So play it. So again, a little bit of a mixed message there, but you know what I'm saying, folks. In any event, for Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net. No, don't forget, folks, you can find Jesse on YouTube. He does his own videos as well on a daily basis at his YouTube channel. Just look up Jesse Shule. And then also Sean at picksandparleys.net. His show is up every day on that channel and various streaming outlets across the internet. Midday Money, that's every day live from 12 o'clock to, I believe, 1, right, Sean, or somewhere in that area?
Yeah, see how we roll through the comments. It's a comment-driven show, so it's kind of...
Yep. So, and again, folks, don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It's the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. We changed names, but if you were already subscribed, you don't have to resubscribe. You're all good to go, and you'll be notified if you get your alerts in your settings. So if you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for, folks? It costs absolutely nothing. There's no strings attached. There's no hidden agenda. There's no subscription plans. You're just privy to extremely good information every day when it comes to sports betting. And our goal continues to be, we want to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. And we continue that theme on a daily basis. You could never know too much. And that includes us three who continue to learn from each other as well. So until the next time, for Jesse and Sean, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.